Hey gang, Adobe Joe and I are here to go over pages 10, 11, and 12 with you today in the primer book. Are you going to stay with us today, or are you going to sneak out? I think she's going to stay with us. Fingers crossed. I like her company. All right, so on page 10, let's get right to it. What is tablature, also known as tab? Okay, tablature is a really easy way to communicate music between each other. I can write things down and you're going to be able to understand them immediately. There's not going to be any memorization involved. When you see 3 lines, each line represents a string on your dulcimer. The very top line is the string that's the farthest away from you. It's your bass string. Okay? The middle string, it's pretty easy to remember because it's on the middle. It's in the middle of your dulcimer. We call it the middle string. The melody string is the one that's closest to your belly. So it's like when you look at tablature, it's like looking at your dulcimer like this. The top line is your bass. The middle line represents your middle string. And there she goes. I knew she'd only last for so long. After she gets her treat, she's like, I'm out of here. Anyway, your melody string is on the very bottom, okay? So those lines represent those strings, okay? Then we put numbers on those lines. If you see on the bass string line, if you see a number 3, that means press down on number 3 and pick that string, okay? If you see zeros on any of those lines, it means you play that string open or 0, no frets, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and jump down to the bottom of page 10. It also has an important reminder for you that the 6.5 fret right here is written as a 6+ in my book, okay? So remember, you've got frets. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This little guy in the middle is 6+ or 6.5, and then 7, okay? I always look at these clusters of these 3 little guys right here, and I just have it memorized that that's 6, and that's 7, and right in the middle is 6.5. Okay, that's a good way to do it. So if we look at the tablature at the bottom of page 10, we can see that the bass line has nothing but zeros. That means that we're going to strum that string, but we're never going to push down any frets on that string. The middle string is the same. They're all zeros. We're not going to press down on any frets. The melody string starts with a 0, and then we have to press on the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, the 5, the 6+, and then the 7. Okay, now your fretting fingers. For this exercise, you can use just your first finger if you want. I want you to remember, I think I've talked to you about it before, anytime you push down on a fret, let's say fret number 2 right here, I want you way up here on it, not way down here. This is really hard to get a note out of your fret if you're way down here. If you're way up here, it's a lot easier to get a nice, clean, clear note, okay? All right. Allergies. All right, let's play that last line together, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, open. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6+ 7. Okay, now I was doing everything I've asked you to do so far, which is to strum across all 3 strings in a nice fluid motion to where you can really hear that note and that bass note. Okay, let's do it one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, open. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6+ 7. Okay, that's our D major scale, also known as Do, Re, Mi. All right, Do, Re, Mi in the key of D. Now on page 11, I talk again about your fretting fingers. A noter is usually just a dowel rod or a small piece of wood that you're holding like this. If I had my pick and I was using it as a noter, it would look like that, okay? And a noter is when you want to use one of those if you've got any issues with your left fretting hand at all. There's a lot of different things we can do if you're having issues with your fretting hand. I've never met a student that's had any issues with their left hand that I couldn't fix. I even took a bicycle glove and mounted a noter to it so that the person, all they had to do was move their arm and let the weight of their hand press down on that fret. There's not going to be any excuse for you not to play this instrument, okay? If you have special needs, you just pop me a message on Facebook or any of the other social media sites I have. Okay, so I go over on page 11 the whole business about why you want to come up here. If you fret that second fret, or any fret for that matter, way down here, it's going to sound like that. Now notice as I get closer to the top side of my fret, I get a nice clear note. Okay. All right, and you can also use any combination of fingers when you're playing these exercises or any of these songs in this book. One thing I want you to think about is if you're using more than one finger. If you're using one finger, you're good. You're just moving your fingers up and down like this. If you use more than one finger, I want you to act like a spider when you're finding these frets, like this. Don't cross over your fingers like that. So if you go 3, 2, 1, lay these 3 fingers here. 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3. Don't go 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. Okay, it just makes common sense. All right, page 12. Okay, this is the big exercise that we're going to do together. I think I'll use the metronome on this. This is just a tablature warm-up. I call this getting to know your frets. Let's see what we've got this on. Let's slow it way down. Actually, we'll leave it on 106, and we're going to go every other beat, okay? So it would sound like this. Slow that down. I don't want you going any faster than you need to right now. We want this to be fun, not crazy and intimidating. And I hate to hear from other people. I tried videos online, but they played too fast for me. So if we do it at 80 there, it would be, and then 1, like that. Yeah, that's about where we want to be. Okay. Every other beat, gang, I'm going to count us off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plus 7. I recognize that from the last page we just did. 6 plus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Second line, 0, 1, 0, 0, 3, 0, 4, 0, 5, 0, 6 plus, 0, 7, 0, 7. Line 3, 0, 7, 0, 7, 0, 6 plus, 0, 6 plus. I'm going to stop counting or telling you what fret you're on. I want you just to stay with me for a little while. Okay, here we go to line 4. Second measure of line 4. Go from 1 to 5. 1, 5, 1, 5. And we do that again. 1, 5, 1, 5. Last line, 2 to 6 plus. This is a good exercise. And you can use any fingers you want to. I prefer just to use my pointer finger when I'm doing this exercise, because I'm in no hurry. 4 to 7s. Last 2 notes. Okay? Alright. Now some of these exercises at the beginning of the book, they might seem like really boring and like, yeah, I don't need to do that. But you know what? You do. Because when you're doing exercises like this, when you're playing these pages, all of these first pages, very mindfully, very slowly, and paying attention to what I'm trying to teach you on them, you're going to pick up on little mistakes you might be making that you wouldn't pick up on if you were just flying. If you skip over all these pages and you jump straight to Michael rowed the boat ashore on page 14, you're not going to get as much out of it. Okay? pay attention to these first few pages for me, all right? And like I said, like I always say, do not hesitate to find me on social media if you have a question about any of these things. And there is no such thing as a dumb question, okay? All right, have some fun with this. Go slow, and I'll see you next time when we start Michael Row the Boat Ashore. Okay, bye-bye.